Kling AI just dropped their official prompting guide, and I went deep. 12 hours of non-stop testing, hundreds of prompts, and countless video generations later, I cracked the code for next-level AI video creation. Forget basic moving images. I'm talking about cinematic camera movements for both image-to-video and text-to-video. Additionally, in this video, you will find answer to the question, is Kling AI Pro worth since they extended the half the price campaign? What's the difference between standard versus Pro modes? I'm about to save you hours of trial and error in the next few minutes. Let's get started. I will start with image-to-video since I believe it's the most popular use case for Kling, primarily because it offers greater control over the video creation process. According to the official Kling guidelines, recommended prompt structure, or as they call Kling spells, looks like this. Here, the subject is the main focus in the video, serving as an important embodiment of the theme. It can be people, animals, plants, objects, etc. Movement element is description of the subject's movement, not the camera movement. The most fundamental elements of the prompt structure are the subject and movement. Prompt starts with the subject, and everything happening in the scene is described in relation to the subject. In contrast to text-to-video, which necessitates scene description, image-to-video is already provided with a scene. That's why it only requires the depiction of the subjects in the image and the intended movement for these subjects. That's why Kling prompts different from the prompting style of Runway Gen3. In Runway, we start the prompt with camera movement and describe the event in the scene. Now the main question is how to incorporate camera movement to the prompt structure on Kling. First of all, we are trying to maximize our creative control from beginning to the end as much as we can. That's why camera control starts from image generation step. If you are using Midjourney or Flux, you can leverage atomic prompting structure for this job. By this, we are arranging the first frames of the story, which means we have the first shot. Now we need the camera control for AI video. On Kling AI, first I tried to put the camera movement to the beginning of my prompt, similar to Runway, but I didn't get a nice silky smooth zooming effect. Then I changed the structure, closely following suggested best practices guideline from Kling team. Subject comes first, and then movement is described in relation to the subject. That's why I decided to incorporate camera movement to the second part of the prompt in relation to the subject. In a similar way, in the prompt, the woman walks while the camera is following her, I used the same method. The camera movement again described in relation to my subject. It can be also that my subject is static, but camera is moving. Not that I maxed out relevance slider all the way up to 0.9, 0.925 levels for maximum loyalty to my prompt. I tried the same structure with other camera movements as well. Camera moves up, down, right and left, and I confirmed this method works well for image-to-video camera controls. One issue though, I struggled with zoom out. I tried many keywords like zoom out, camera moves back, shows more of the background, wide shot, pans back, etc. But I didn't get the zoom out movement. Then I used zoom out feature on Midjourney and I added this image to Kling as the end frame and managed to get better results. However, I think this workflow is too long. Generation time with end frame feature takes 100% longer. In the future, Kling team needs to improve this and we should be able to zoom out just by typing it as a prompt. Let's take a look at more tips from Kling guideline. If you want to incorporate elements moving in the background of the scene, we can do so by this structure. If you want to create great action and motion scenes, use the keyword motion blur on Midjourney and sense of speed keyword in your Kling prompts. Next, it's mentioned in the guideline that if there are several subjects in the scene with various movements, list them sequentially. When it comes to text-to-video, Kling team's official guideline suggests following prompt structure. The most fundamental components of this prompt structure are the subject description, subject movement, and the setting, which constitute the most straightforward and essential units for depicting a video scene. Similar to image-to-video, the subject is the main focus in the video. Descriptions of the subject's appearance details and body posture can be listed using multiple short sentences. For example, hairstyle and hair color, clothing, accessories, facial features, body posture, and so on. Next is subject movement. Descriptions of the subject's movement, including static stillness and of course motion. The setting represents the environment in which the subject is situated. This can be foreground, background, the other elements of the scene like year, era, location, or simply indoor setting and outdoor setting. Optional elements are lighting and atmosphere. Lighting examples can be ambient lighting, morning light, sunset, interplay of light and shadow, or artificial lighting. Atmosphere means overall mood and tone. For example, cinematic. We don't have camera motion control in the prompt structure, since in the text-to-video mode, camera motion can be selected from camera control menu on Kling. It's quite intuitive to use these camera controls with a variety of basic options, and it's working quite good. You can also set intensity of the movement and see a preview here. However, if the camera motion you want to have isn't on the list, you can add camera language to the very beginning of our prompt according to the guidelines. For example, take a look at this prompt here. Starts with the shot type. Camera language can be defined with shot type. It can be ultra-wide-angle shots, close-ups, low-angle shots, high-angle shots, aerial views, or it can be defined with camera movement. Here's an example with camera movement being mentioned at the beginning of the prompt. So only difference between image-to-video and text-to-video is, in image-to-video, we described camera movement in relation to the subject in the second part of the sentence. In text-to-video, we start with camera movement. In my tests, by these methods, I get the most optimal results. At this stage of the product, I'm not recommending to have both shot type and camera movement in the same prompt, since it gets way too confusing for the model to decode and reflect correctly. If you add camera language to your prompts, I recommend to keep camera control selection in default, or the camera language you mention is one of these here. Of course, you can select it to further enforce your prompt. Next, what are Kling AI Pro features and are they worth it? When it comes to visual differences of generated videos between standard and pro modes, I observed for standard mode, motion in the scene appears natural, however, the details are not very pronounced. In pro mode, details are richer and the camera movement is more stable. Here, for example, the sails conform to the physics of the motion better, giving it a cinematic quality, and the camera movement is more stable. Flow of the water feels more natural. When it comes to more complex, dynamic scenes, both standard and pro modes struggle. From features and workflow perspective, 10 seconds generation isn't available with standard mode. You can remove watermarks only in paid options, and Pro mode has advanced camera controls in the text-to-video. Downside is, Pro mode generations take much longer due to enriched visual quality. My conclusion would be, if you will mainly use image-to-video with properly upscaled images, you don't need to purchase Kling Pro. Hopefully this video was truly helpful for you to explore Kling AI further. If you felt a spark of inspiration, show your support with a thumbs up and click here to learn more about Midjourney or AI videos.